Good morning. It is showtime. Good morning, people, or should we say good morning, Vietnam? Wrong forum. It's the aftermath. It's the Monday. Good morning, people, wherever you are in the world. For you, for some people, it's morning. For some people, it's afternoon, or maybe for some people, it's the evening. But welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. How does it feel on this Monday morning? Please start like this. We got to stretch a little bit, get the blood flow going, circulation. Have a sip on your coffee and reflect. How do you feel as a Manchester United fan this morning? Let me know in the comment section, because we have a lot of things that we're going to talk about. And of course, this show is going to be predominantly the aftermath talk about yesterday's draw, Liverpool versus Manchester United. And of course, Jurgen Klopp has been coming out being salty as per usual, to saying we could have done more. We were more dominant than the 7-up 7-up game than the draw. I mean, the delusion kicks in. The interview, Roy Keane slamming Liverpool, slamming Van Dijk for being disrespectful, and Van Dijk accusing Onana for cheating, and it was salty Liverpool tears. Instead of just being professional, come and admitted that Manchester United made Liverpool play like shit, to be honest. The Anfield crowd was the most silenced crowd that you heard for a decade. They were just silenced. That means that Erik Ten Hag did his homework, came to Anfield with a game plan, and shushed them. When was the last time you heard that? We have some interesting stats to display here, guys. But please, before we continue this show, you know what to do. Good morning to you. Let us know in the comments section where you're from, what time it is, what's the mood today. Because for me, a win is a positive win, but a draw at Anfield feels like a win, especially when you reflect the day after and think like, hang on, Ten Hag was a masterclass tactician yesterday. Klopp tried, he huffed and puffed, he did the substitution changes, but Ten Hag caught on to him and outsmart him. At the end of the day, yes, some people may say we came to park the bus, but I say the defense is the strongest weapon in football. So to walk away with a point at Anfield is a massive result. Barring that, Liverpool hasn't lost there since what, September, right? But guess what? We did it. Good morning to you guys. Good morning to Mark. How are you doing, Mark, as well? I see the Mark Producers is back in the house. He's with the beanie. How are you doing, Marky?
Chilling. It's a good morning. Like everyone United fan would agree with me when they say it's a good day after United does a result.
It's a good
Whether
day.
they win or they draw, it's always a good day. It's always terrible when they lose. As
Yeah.
much as people might have a disappointment with the result, I think it was good and the performance was decent.
Would you say that, thank you, United, for not ruining my weekend? Like many people would say, like, you can wake up on a Monday morning feeling that there is a building block from here. You can see it, like, because people were talking about the double pivot. We're talking about Amrabat with Kobbie Mainoo. And by the way, Kobbie Mainoo, my God, my Lord, you were sitting here yesterday with Uncle Jimmy, and Uncle Jimmy was said something. This kid is going to dominate the Premier League midfield for the next 10 years. He's so special. He's our next Paul Scholesy. Would you agree what he was saying?
Yeah, well, I mean, especially since I've been talking about Kobbie Mainoo since the start of the season. I've been saying that, like the Erik Ten Hag may be planned with him. I've always mentioned that when he got injured, the reaction of the manager during preseason, and maybe he was meant to be a starter this season in the plans of the manager. So, it's a lot to take in. And everyone is thinking about, he's suddenly emerged and whatever, but we've been seeing the emergence of the youth and the ones who should possibly be seen in the next Ten Hag starting 11,
Mm,
which would be like Alvaro Fernandez, the likes of Dan God Jr.
100%.
We've
100%.
seen them. Mark Jurado. We've seen them in preseason, and yes, it's preseason, but when youngsters play a decent game, an entertaining game against players that are experienced pros, you have to give them a little bit of applause, because at the end of the day, these youngsters aren't playing school football; they're in an academy.
No,
Their
they're an
goal and
academy.
their life dream is to be professionals. So you have to give them a certain level of respect, especially
Yeah,
when they
and
show that maturity of play.
speaking about that, like I just read, I had my morning coffee, I was browsing the news, and we know that Manchester City has been after 3 times to hijack Kobbie Mainoo. He's such special talent, but now they're after another Manchester United academy talent. Do you know who?
I could guess. I think it's
Yes,
probably going to be either Dan Gore Jr. or maybe Shea Lacey.
no, it's the Norwegian starlet Aaron Hansen-Aaroen.
Hansen-Aaroen.
He's
Oh,
so good. But
he is
apparently they
very
are
good.
after him. Yeah. So City is now poaching our academy players. That means that we actually have a good academy coming through.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, the current crop of players, as you can see, their performances in the Youth League and in the second 11 Premier League, you can see it's pretty good there. The top three in all regards.
Hmm.
So currently, it's performing well, and it's come a long way, because last season we would not have been, saying, look, United Academy under 20, under 17, under 15 would be top three right now for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the
100%.
name and the legacy, but the performances weren't there for the last few seasons. I think a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of this accredited not only to the development of the youth, but the change in the style of play that has seen throughout the entire club, not just the senior level, with Ten Hag's
Yeah. I'm
influence.
just here. It says like on one football app. I'm just reading it now. They said, "Are Manchester United set to lose another exciting academy talent to Manchester City?" It says Manchester United may lose Isak
Hans-
Hansen-Aaroen to rivals to Manchester City. The 19-year-old has trained with the Man United first team numerous times under Ten Hag. He was involved in the preseason. We saw that. I really liked Aaron Hansen, when he was in the preseason, but he's looking for minutes apparently. And however, Hansen-Aaroen has found it challenging to receive substantial opportunities coming his way. But if you think he's going to go to City and gets minutes there, guess twice. No, Klopp doesn't really play youth, right? So. No, I'm just reading on. He feels like staying at United won't benefit his career. And obviously, Pep Guardiola has often used youngsters in the big stage, made them better footballers. Phil Foden, Rico Lewis is prime examples. But Phil Foden and Rico Lewis are not enough. They're just few examples. Like, if you look at Manchester United, we always bring up academy, like 1, 2 per season, 3 in each squad.
I mean, this is the next thing that a lot of fans have to take into consideration. We have some youth that deserve a chance, but at the same time, there can only be so many in a season. You know what I mean?
Mm, mm,
It's going to be,
100%.
it's not proactive and practical to start a first 11 of youth, especially when you're a team the size of Manchester United. I mean, as much as fans would say we want to see the youth, I mean,
Yep.
it's not sustainable. We could see the example with Chelsea.
True that, true that. But anyway, this I didn't read much into this story. May or can be. I think we should retain if we have a good academy. This is kind of the class of '92 what we're talking about, but it's 2023, right? So we have some really good talent coming up there. But big up for people coming in here. Good morning to you, Madhouse. How are you? Good morning, Ivo Bosic, all the way from Australia. How you doing? What you Ivo Bosic is saying? All we did was show league how you get a point at Liverpool. Outside of recycling the ball, Trent, who gave Varane heading practices, they did not do enough creative to win. And 100%, we're going to talk about that as well, because there was some salty comments in the tunnel as well. I mean, basically, Van Dijk went up to Andre Onana and called him a cheat. And Onana, what did he do? He went out to shushed it in the press conference to say, "Hey, Anfield, I didn't feel nothing. It was the same like any other stadium. I didn't feel anything." So that was like a peek back, right? Yale Malmin, good morning to you. What you saying? I cannot wait to see Mainoo next to Casemiro. We got 50 minutes of
100%.
it in the summer. Yeah, we did get 50 minutes of this partnership right in the summer. It was
But he
magic
got
against
injured.
Real Madrid. Another
Yep.
thing also what Ten Hag came out to say yesterday in the presser was to say about the partnership with Rafael Varane and Johnny Evans. And remarkably, they have never played together before. But yesterday, it looked like they've been playing the whole season together, right? It was impeccable. And I think that this is a something to build on, that partnership in the back, unless Harry Maguire comes in. What do you reckon?
Yes, it's something like that. I don't think Harry Maguire is going to come in unless Varane is injured or, because
Yeah,
at the end of the day, Ten Hag likes the balance of a left-sided player and a right-sided player. So Johnny
yeah,
Evans would probably start if his form continues. I don't disagree. At the end of the day, I see the team as a squad, and a lot of people might have favorites on players and players who they think are better, but I think the performances are what denotes the starting position. You could have all the reputation in the world, but if you're not performing well on schedule,
true,
then
true,
you should be on the
true,
bench.
true. But also, Mark, let me ask you a question there as well. I mean, we keep forgetting one thing. The best centre back partnership is somebody's coming back. And who is that?
Licha, but he's not going to be back until maybe the end of January. So
You
I'm not
reckon?
really
End of
talking about.
January. They're not
Yeah, I
going to rush
mean,
him back. He's back training. Yeah.
he's back in certain physical training, but he hasn't been in first team training. So,
Mm. But
training and first team training is two different things in the
that's
sense that.
arguably speaking our best centre back pairing, from last season as well, Licha and Varane.
Yeah,
But
well,
of course,
that's how that's basically what we would aim to have. That would,
mm,
if we
mm,
had started the season with a fit pair of them, I argue that we would be in a lot different situations right now. But at the same
yeah,
time, football is unpredictable. It doesn't work like that. So, you know,
yeah. Big up Carlos for coming in. Say Glazes out. 100% agree. Madhouse has said he could not watch the game yesterday. How did Captain Scotty do? Scooby Doo. Scooby Doo. Scott McTominay was, according to a lot of critics out there on the socials, some pundits. Of course, the British media will always big him up, but he was the weakest link in that team. Great, you gave him the captain's armband, but Scott McTominay in the first half was dreadful. Like he didn't even get the ball out in the first half. Like in his own half, he couldn't even pass. That was a shambles. So lucky that we have Kobbie Mainoo there that was cool and composed together with Amrabat. So they basically did Scott's job. I think he had one chance on goal, and that was about it. Other than that, he was invisible for me. Scott McTominay got lucky due to all these injuries to get all these minutes, but as soon as everyone comes to fitness, we're talking about Mason
that's
Mount, Bruno Fernandes come back into the team. I think we should start with a double pivot, Casemiro, Mainoo, Amrabat, Mainoo, Amrabat, Casemiro, and some form of rotation between Bruno and Mason Mount as the number 10, and therefore I see that Scott McTominay will get some limitation and potentially be somebody on the market to be sold in January because they've been playing up to the contract. Manchester United need to sell in order to buy something in January, and boy, do we need to strengthen in January.
Yeah, I think so. I would agree with the argument that say when players come back like Casemiro, that Scott McTominay will be on the bench because in my opinion, Scott McTominay is the like for like replacement for Casemiro, at least in the eyes of the manager. I think Kobbie Mainoo and Casemiro would be the best midfield pairing going forward behind Bruno because Casemiro offers that experience that Mainoo would need. Mainoo offers the energy and the talent and techniques that Casemiro needs
Yeah.
to back him up. And they provide together would probably provide the best solid base for any 10 we was to choose. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
sure, sure.
I
We got to move
I
on a little
think
bit, Mark. We got to speed up the tempo. I'm just getting catch up with people in the live stream here. We got to you, VR room. Mainoo is old enough to fight in Afghanistan. Play him. That means in terms that if you're good enough, you're old enough, and I 100% agree. Everyone's been talking about it. I'm raving about it. I want to see more, but at the same time, tread with cautious. Like he's still a youngster. I don't think we should burn him out, fizz him into the team slowly. Yolim Amin, good morning. How are you seeing? If City sees talent in Hansen, it's surprising that he's not been on the bench. Hansen is a baller. Iron Hansen is a baller. I totally agree. The slow center of gravity. You should ask, he's from Tromsø, Norway, basically. So we should ask Jarvis. He knows everything about Iron Hansen as well. Madhouse, what are you saying? We should not lose to West Ham and Villa, please. No, that's the next step forward. We build from here. We have West Ham and Villa. I believe in the weekend it's a League Cup, or is it Carabao Cup, or is it FA?
This weekend coming in?
Yeah, this midweek. Is it FA Cup or Carabao Cup?
It has to be FA Cup because we're out of the Carabao Cup. So
Yeah,
it'll be
are
FA
we
Cup.
playing midweek?
I'm not too sure. I will double check and let you know in 1
The games
second.
comes
But
quick and
I
fast.
think that, I think the game this weekend upcoming would be against West Ham would be a very good game to see the progress of the team.
Yeah. But 100% I agree with Almac. At the end of the day, we kept forgetting that rotation is key. Rotation is key. So it's a good headache to have like in a good centre-back pairing. Maguire will get plenty of opportunities because Varane simply can't maintain his fitness. And same thing goes with the midfield. It's all about rotation. It's good headache, right? According to my opinion. Now that we actually found a little bit of a foundation, how to be compact and defend and not leaking in the goals, now we got to figure out how we should attack. And that is the next step in the progress, Mark. Because
100%.
programmatic, it's okay. Like I always say that defense is the best tool in football to win games. 100%. We've been conceding far too many goals. Ten Hag has rectified the problem by the looks of it. We can see the progression. The only progression right now that I see is the transition is actually feeding the striker, is actually feeding the wingers. It's actually scoring some goals right now. And I would say that is the most logical step. But looking at it, like, we have Villa, and then we have
West Ham, and then we have Villa.
West Ham. Yeah.
West Ham is on Saturday. We don't have any game in the midweek this week. Just
we don't have, which is good, which means a lot of rest, a lot of practice. Anyway, big up for Kenny Fan TV all the way from Australia. I can see you. Big up, guys. Big up to you as well, my fella, my guy. What do you say? McTominay is United's top goal scorer this season. That is sad, 100%. I want to see Rasmus Højlund get on the score sheet, right? I want to see him. And it's sad state of affairs, according to my opinion, Mark, that we haven't fed him enough, like any balls. Like he's living on scraps. Yesterday, he got one chance, one pass. And unfortunately, he couldn't beat a very good goalkeeper, which is Alisson, right? He struck the ball. He should have put it like on the ground, but he hit his chest. But that's the only chance he had.
Well, you have to put it in the air. You couldn't put it on the ground. It would not have any angle ready for it to go in. But I just think it's like one of those things where people might say we're having trouble finding the striker, but then again, if you're not looking at the game in the perspective where the team is playing in a way that they are trying to, their focus is around Rasmus Højlund, so he's always double teamed, if not man marked. So it's one of those things where the defensive team was pushing us away from getting balls into him as well. So even though the wingers was getting a lot of passes, because if you look at the heat maps, all the balls came through the wing, either through Garnacho or through Anthony. It's just getting the passes into him was a lot difficult because a lot of passes were going his way, some of them intercepted. It's something that is being worked on. You could see from the way that they've been playing in the last two games. Maybe it has not just synced up yet, but it's something, a work in progress at the end of the day.
Okay. No, I want to move on as well. Into the next story. I mean, we've spoken about Kobbie Mainoo. The Kobbie Mainoo pass to Garnacho was mint. The only problem is that, there was a brilliant defense from Trent Alexander-Arnold, which people say he cannot defend. But that, he did a fantastic block on that one. Otherwise, it would have been 1-0 to United. We had opportunities to win the game, but however, disgracefully enough, it's dominating the headlines. According to Fabrizio Romano, is also tweaking it. Disgraceful Van Dijk. There's only one team trying to win the game, but unfortunately, it did not happen. We were superior in all aspects. They were hoping to hurt us on the counter, and they are buzzing with 1 point. What a shambolic. Shut the hell up, what the people are saying. And it didn't look like they were trying to win. I mean, they had a game plan, but basically, they didn't have any clear-cut chances. Most of the clear-cut chances we're talking about came from set pieces and corners. That means that Manchester United had a fantastic defensive plan. They couldn't lay a glove on us, 100%. And to make things worse, right? He also had a dig at Andre Onana. He had a dig at Andre Onana to say, like, hey, Virgil van Dijk to Andre Onana in the tunnel after the game. Because of you, We only played half an hour. He's responding. Andrew responded with a smile. So basically, he said, because of you, you cheated. Mark, is this guy smoking some weird frogs? This Van Dijk?
I mean, quote. I'm just gonna quote Roy Keane and say, arrogant. One title in 30. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? They huffed and they puffed. They tried their best to create all they could, but they were ineffective because of a good defensive display by United. And at the same time, Van Dijk could say what he wanted about cheating. Alisson takes all the time in the world when he's on the ball. When they're on top of games, they be passing the ball to Alisson every 5 minutes, and he be taking the time and running about because that's what teams do. You know what I mean? It's called football. When you're in charge or when you want to change the game, you have to control the pace. You have to take the sting out of the game sometimes.
Yeah.
And that means making different ways to pass the ball and keep it in
100%.
play, but keep possession.
Let's listen to Roy Keane's rant. This is basically on X Twitter, meaning we can still play it without any copyright
Yeah, I
issues.
think so. Obviously, we heard Van Dijk speaking there. Obviously, a lot of arrogance coming out of him.
This is basically, he agrees, arrogance. And I love Roy Keane. He's a straight shooter.
Dishing United like that. He needs he needs a reminder himself. He's playing for clubs who won one title in 30 odd years.
He's playing for a club that won one title in 30 years. Facts.
He said only one team wanted to win. Man United buzzing with the point. Man United are in a difficult place. Like Liverpool have been in a difficult place for many a year. So maybe that bit of arrogance backfired on him today.
I don't know if it was arrogance personally.
That's arrogant.
Listen, fun fact is, right, Liverpool won one title in the Lockdown Cup. There was no fans in the stadium. That was the easiest run of title you can win. If you remember, Mark, there was like, the COVID session. So, humble.
That's arrogant.
I just think
he said Man United were buzzing. Only one team came to play. Yeah. Listen, I've come to many times here when I was at United, when Liverpool in a tough place, and they were happy with a draw. Yeah, United will take them up. But
I think
to dish them like that, saying, "Oh, they're buzzing. Only one team wanted to win." United had one or two chances. United are up against it. And sometimes players need a reminder when they're playing for clubs like Liverpool, and everyone's saying Man United are this and that. Yeah, United are in a bad place, but for many a year, Man United were in a good place. And he wouldn't be disrespecting clubs like he is.
I think he's not disrespecting the club.
He's defending him. Like, I don't think he's disrespecting the club. Anyway, do you agree? I mean, I agree what he's saying here. I mean, I totally back Roy Keane, what he's saying, basically. Who do you think you are? Like, they say, just say that we were shit. We played shit. Manchester United bossed us in the midfield. They were the better team. And Manchester United could have won that game because if you look at the clear-cut chances, we didn't have many chances, but the ones were in play was clear-cut. There was more on set pieces, Mark.
Well, yeah, but, I wouldn't say that Liverpool played shit because then that would mean that we didn't play well. So that would be kind of difficult.
Liverpool's fans' excuse is that, Liverpool fans' excuse say that we played shit. And press and media is saying,
that's what they want to say.
Even on ESPN, I was watching Craig Werby and they said Manchester United was really good. So basically, Klopp tried everything. In huffed and puffed, he's trying his substitution. Didn't work because you know what? Ten Hag outclassed him in tactics. He was onto him.
Basically, I feel like basically it was more like they had a tactical display of the managers. Everyone, like Klopp and Liverpool, they tried their best. They came out the blocks. They were attacking at full pace. They played that rock and roll football at 90 miles an hour. And United weathered the storm well. They got chances, although it wasn't like a lot of big chances. They got their chances and they just didn't take them. I would say in the second half, the biggest chances of the game fell to Manchester United. So it's definite that they're going to feel a bit salty about the result because they were at home.
They are Liverpool salty tears here because they blew the opportunity to clinch the top spot, right? They're now sitting in second and they have themselves to blame. They didn't expect, they didn't expect Manchester United to even lay a glove on them. Everyone was counting out Manchester United, but footballing gods does exist, like Terry Lewis is saying. He speaks like me about footballing gods. I really love it. You know what I mean? When you're too arrogant, too cocky, you're always going to get backfired in a sense. Why can't you just come out in interviews and praise the winning team? Even Jurgen Klopp would find it very hard to admit he was playing mind games, but he was actually saying, you know, he was a little bit afraid of Manchester United to turn it around. And guess what? We did. We got a result. And I'm happy. I'm personally happy. Okay, a draw is a draw, right? It's 1 point. But at Anfield, which they haven't lost the game since September, they never lose there. And to silence the crowd, there was absolutely, you can drop a needle in that stadium, you can hear the echo because it was silence. They were stunned. For me, it's a win, Mark. It's a rivalry.
It was. And at the end of the day, is I wouldn't say it was like a win. It didn't feel like a win to me. You know, in my opinion, it felt like a draw, a good result. I just agree with the fact that, you know, United came out and they showed a good display for themselves. Each member of the team, they played relatively well. You know what I mean? I think we could have done a little bit better. And
you didn't expect that. We did a Sean Dyche there. We did park the bus, but you know, we didn't really park the bus, but it was more of a unity. You know, all the pundits I was watching, like, you know, in the aftermath was talking about first time we see that 11 players from Manchester United fought for each other. You know, that was that fight and determination, what I wanted the team to display. And yesterday it was Juddy Sports, big up man, all the way from Australia, Asthma Champions, Mick, you know. Yeah, I'm not going to mention, but I know what you're saying because of the COVID. Oh, did I say that? Beep. You know what I mean. Liverpool won when there was no crowd. They won the league, and I want to see them do it again. Will they do it this season? Don't know. Arsenal looks fiery, pretty much. But the season is long, and there's 3 quarters to play anyway, guys. Jesus Christ. The aftermath is sweet. Tasting those Liverpool salted tears, Mark. What's going on in the VR room? Mark, are you awake? You need coffee?
No,
Wake up.
I don't need coffee.
What's going on?
I don't
anyway,
know.
guys.
Welsh Girl. Boston is saying you don't need a degree in sports science to know if you stick 10 men in front of my goal, I'll make it stupid hard for the opposition to score. That's not genius level coaching. But again, I would say to Ivo Bosic, you know, he always has an agenda against Ten Hag, maybe because he just dislikes him. And if he was watching the game, he would see that there wasn't 10 men in front of the goal.
Yeah.
I mean, if when we were defending, any team should defend with 10 men. So
we know Ivo
clearly you're
doesn't
just
like
making apples from oranges.
Yeah, Ivo is one of our loyal community members, and he doesn't love 10. I mean, but he loves the team, though. But I think he's critical because he wants us to play better. And we will play better eventually. Listen, from a statman Dave, which is the guru of the stats, he says Liverpool have failed to score at Anfield for the first time since 21st of January 2023. This is also the first time they have failed to win at Anfield since the 20th of May 2023. Shut out. Facts. And they can come out and be as salty as hell, but this is actually the fact, right? You sent me a picture. You did send me some stats earlier. Do you have that on the slide, basically comparing the 2 seasons of Klopp versus Ten Hag?
Of course, it was the main topic at the end, you know, to close, because at the end of the day, I feel like in the slide, in everything, you need context. And you know, when you think about the perspective of things, you know what I mean, it's always important to have context. And when everyone is crashing it on Ten Hag for his performances, and they talk about any other manager would be better, Harry Potter, they talk about Jurgen Klopp, they talk about Arteta, they talk about Pep. Look at his stats: 86 games to 99, 168 points to 178, which means he's played what, 13 less games. And he is what, 10 points behind Jurgen Klopp. He has 53 wins, 3 less defeats, and 12 less draws than Jurgen Klopp. He has a higher points per game average with 1.95 than Jurgen Klopp's 1.8. So when you look at the perspective, and you talk about a manager and you talk about our manager, sometimes you have to look at the perspectives. Teams, they don't just advance. You know, there's a phase. And maybe some people think a phase is just like you add a player, the player somebody comes in, the team suddenly gets better. But people have to adjust to the basic style of each player, because each player has default things that they might do differently. It needs to complement everyone on the team. And if you look at Arteta in comparison, 86 games to 86 games, Ten Hag is ahead by 11 points.
Yeah,
He
and
has 53
they
wins, which
gave
is
Arteta a chance, and now Arteta is cooking. They gave him time.
yeah.
So this is kind of
Arteta's
like a
got
bit of a heat
time.
map to show that there is a progression. I do understand, but the thing is, Mark, you can show this to most Manchester United fans. They don't have the patience. That's the problem, right? You know, we are back to that square discussion, like, you know, after 18 months, second another manager. But I'd say, like, you know, stick with the Ten Hag, you know, let him cook, and come what may. You know, it hasn't been the perfect season, but we are at the same points tally, same result as what we stood last season before Christmas as well. So the season is long, and we can still get up to the top 4, and that's about it. You know,
100%. And there's still half of the season to go. I think people forget that it's 38 games. You know, they get hyped off the first 10 games. There's still 28 left after 10.
Yeah, but there are a lot of things, you know, because a lot of other managers and a lot of teams get away with it. But it's Manchester United, so it gets amplified. Everything that we do, so and that is the media agenda. We all know it. But when Klopp loses, or, you know, nobody's talking about City losing the plot, and nobody's talking about, you know, Pochettino losing his plot. Like, you know, everyone's talking about Newcastle. They're starting to compare with Eddie Howe get the sack before. And this bullshit. Media is driving this agenda because they want managers sacked so they can have stories to write. And I just say, listen, okay, let's weather this storm. Let's just go game by game. Let's go into Christmas, New Year, have a break, and, you know, start from there. The most important
100%.
thing for me yesterday was to see that we are actually playing compact football. There we are, you know, having a clean sheet, defending, yeah, a little bit pragmatic, but that's what you need to do to stop the flow, you know, to stop the goal leaks, right? And from there, you can just go forward and start attacking, right? King Jabash, what
100%.
you saying?
Again, Jabez is coming in. He's saying, before the match, rivals, Liverpool fans, even some United fans were saying United will get battered, dominated. Now we got a draw. It's United never tried to win. Get out of here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I totally agree with him, because there were a lot of fans, especially just like Ivo Bosic, he was saying we were going to get battered 4-0, 5-0, 4-0. Some guys even say 10-0. You know what I mean? And, you know, when the result is the result, they are the first fans that are going to come out and say, well, you know, United parked the bus. Liverpool was off their game. Liverpool were shit. They didn't play well. It's undermining the performance of your own team. And to call yourself a fan when you just undermine the performance of your team just to make it look bad because you don't like a manager or you don't like players in the squad or the starting 11, it changes the perspective of things. At the end of the day,
We got the right
want
manager.
the team to win, and yeah, we got a good manager. We got a decent team. We don't have an amazing team. Man City has an amazing team. There are some amazing players in our team.
Look, fact. Like, it took Klopp, or at least you know, Pep Guardiola 3-4 seasons to get it right, you know, in the transfer market as well, to be honest. So yeah, this is his second transfer window, and and this was his second transfer season, and I don't see like he got proper backing there. Like, you know, when it really matters to go into the Champions League, what did they give him? Nothing. They gave him nothing, no funds at all. So
I mean,
take that in consideration as well.
The backing from the club this season going into the summer transfer window this year was really supposed to be with getting players out. I think when you talk about a team backing a manager doesn't mean buying players. Backing a manager means getting rid of the players he doesn't want, that he doesn't use, so they're not in the squad being toxic energies.
Club failed him. They failed
100%.
him miserably. And it comes down to the competency of people above him as well. Juddy Sports, big up. You're absolutely saying MUC Realist TV. To be honest, I see 12 to 15 players being sold over the next 2 summers transfer windows under Ineos. Well, why does it have to be under Ineos?
I mean, it's
Jokes
just the
aside.
narrative.
The time to remove the dead wood and players not comfortable on the ball. Again, yes, I agree with that part of 12 to 15 players, but why under Ineos? Ineos is not going to be the problem. 25% is not going to solve the club's problem. 25% of that, if it's happening, it's going to the Glazers' pocket and not going to solve the football operational economics. We'll talk about this later on in a recorded podcast I'm doing with Bilal, Football Economy. It's not going to be live because of time constraints, so we're going to record it later on, but we're going to post it this afternoon. There's some shocking information that's going to come out. Anyway, so hold your horses there as well. Big up for you to come in and have you say, mate, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And I just thinking about the red card. I feel sorry for Diego Dalot. And tried to find out this clip, but it was being blocked because of media infringements. We're talking about they're comparing Darwin Noodles. He did petulance. He basically chested, floored Johnny Evans, and then he kicked off the ball, and then he went petulant on the linesman. And what did you see? One yellow card in the instance of 7 seconds. Diego Dalot received a red for doing. I mean, he was a duel. He won the ball, and it was actually Manchester United throw-in. Correct. He was frustrated. 87th minute. Why, as a referee, Micheal Oliver, it does not make sense. Why are you pulling out a red unless you are getting paid? That's what a lot of fans are saying. Talk to me.
Well, I mean, look at the guy, right? He's a Newcastle fan. Just back in my day, I remember when they select referees to go to the World Cup or to international tournaments. You can't even referee in a group where you're in the same region as a team from that group. You know what I mean? Just to make sure that you have no allegiances. This guy's a Newcastle fan.
Do one.
This is not
Seriously,
evident,
the same referee team's been banned to referee together for at least 3 weeks. What do? They come back. They've been giving a chance, and they have to. They cannot. We're talking about Oliver. Who else was on the sideline? Please help me. What was the trio yesterday?
Howard Webb? Wasn't Howard Webb?
No, not Howard Webb. Who was the referee team yesterday? Micheal Oliver.
I didn't. I just knew he was the referee, and I was just upset.
On the sideline.
Well, I mean, those guys they do it together. You know what I mean? They're a team. They have to protect themselves at the end of the day. Like, it's hard for me.
They are protecting themselves.
I'm not gonna.
Jesus Christ,
I hope Eric Ten Hag doesn't complain too much
because
I don't want him to be.
Themselves.
I don't want Eric Ten Hag to be attacked again. The last time he complained, they barred him from games and stuff like that. I just think that it's a bad look if the PGMOL is not paying attention to the fact that this is on television worldwide in 2023, and international fan base are paying to watch these things, and when they watch nonsense like this.
Hello, Mark, are you there? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
You're rambling on something else. We're talking about the referees, and you're talking about something else. We're talking about Anthony Taylor.
I'm actually talking about the referees. Because I'm
maybe it's my lagging. I couldn't hear you. It's like, hello, Mark. Hello. Okay, we're good. You can hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, good. Yeah, sorry, man. Sorry. Brian Foskett is saying Anthony Taylor. Yes, basically Anthony Taylor and Micheal Oliver. These are the scumbags, what I'm saying. They hate Manchester United. It's not the first time. You remember the red card against Casemiro, red card against Anthony. The agenda is clearly there. And what you're showing here, Newcastle
no red card versus no red card versus Arsenal when Saka tackled Bruno with an ankle breaker. I mean, look at the tackle with Fabian Shaw against Bruno as well.
Never referee a Premier League again. They were banned for 3 weeks. They got back into the saddle, and what do? They have to. They just have to. 87th minute. What point is it to give a red card? Unless you've been paid to say, like, okay, this will be the differentiator. I'm tired of it, man. They need to go. They need to go, in my opinion. Nunes had been gotten a yellow for clapping the linesman. He did that too, petulant, right? But the less and more not seeing, I can't read this. Do you have better eyes than me?
But it's less than that,
Yes, so-
and more than not sending off a player 29 minutes into a game. But the same referee, Anthony Taylor, sent off a United player in a leg against Manchester City. So it's not like if they don't do it. I mean, I don't know if it's just me, but United will seem to get the brunt of everything, and then they'll fix it afterwards. Because when we have all the issues we have with referees and handballs and stuff like that not going our way, other teams get the problem fixed for their games, and then we just face more problems in our games. So it's nothing new. Any United fan looking at this and thinking, you know, it was not going to be anything different, I mean, you're delusional, in my opinion.
Yeah, what to do? Anyway, it is what it is. But do you expect them to be overturned, or is it you can't overturn 2 yellow cards or whatever that is? I was reading something like that. Anyone knows?
People might say they can't overturn 2 yellow cards, but they've done it for Liverpool twice this season. They've done it for
Liverpool.
Arsenal twice this season. They've done it for Man City. I mean, they've done it for Newcastle. So if they can't overturn yellow cards, we've seen examples. I can call the names of the players if you want.
There needs to be consistency, people. Let us know your thoughts and feelings in the VR room as well. Big up, big up. Mark, I'm a little bit conscious about time. I think we covered most of the aftermath, and the summarize is basically Liverpool salted tears. Like, you know, they cannot admit that Manchester United outsmarted them in tactics. They worked hard as a team, and they stopped them to have goal scoring opportunities other than set pieces and corners. That's the closest I could have get. Darwin Núñez, shocking. In offside position, Darwin Núñez, Cody Gakpo, shocking. We stopped Mo Salah. We doubled down on Mo Salah as well. So from a defensive perspective, it's what Jarvis says, the dark art of footballs. 100%.
100%. You know, you have to be attentive and ready for every match. And it's not about the best 11 always. It's about the starting 11. And whoever is in that starting 11 on a match day, they need to come out and show their stuff and play to the manager's strengths. You know, if the manager gives them directives, they follow the orders to the T. And then, you know, the game is as a result of the performances. You come out, you give 100%. The fans will be appreciative. I'm pretty sure the results will be better. You know, sometimes you look at a team and you might say, well, you know, they could have done more. They could have had more shots on goal. We were battered. You know, but at the same time, United is not that team right now. United is a team in a work in progress, and it's going to be good games. It's going to be bad games. It's going to be better games. So 100%. We're going to find consistency. That's the aim for United right now. Find consistency. You know what I mean? And it will come. There's a season. And there's 20 more games left.
It is, guys. And we are running a little bit over time, Mark, as well. But it is like that when you talk football in Manchester United, and especially this is the game that I'm very passionate about. Like, you know, I was face painting myself yesterday. I was saying, like, we are going to war. This is Liverpool we're talking about. This is 2 games on a fixture whenever the Premier League schedules comes out and look for. This is the Anfield away and Manchester United versus Liverpool at Theatre of Dreams. This is a must-win game or a draw. So that's what I'm saying. I'm happy. I wanted to, you know, at the end of the day, we could have won that game easily. But to take a point, I take that. And if I look at the overall team performance and how they responded, they're definitely playing for the manager. They're playing for the badge. They're playing for themselves yesterday. And it was a solid performance. Nothing can take that away. And Jurgen Klopp, you can sit there and cry your salted tears. Big up. What else is going on in the ether, Mark, in the paper talk?
Well, the only last bit is Erik ten Hag also fired back at Virgil van Dijk, and I'm just going to show you the clip of what he was saying. It is his opinion, replying to what Virgil van Dijk saying that Manchester United was buzzing with a draw. We were the only team trying to win. And Ten Hag said, we should have taken more of the ball. If you see the regains, 3 or 4 passes in, we are capable of that. And then we could have hurt the opponent even more. And I totally agree with what the manager is saying. You know, at the end of the day, you know, the team, they had a good performance. And if you're watching the game, we could have hurt them at the end and took a lead. It didn't happen, but, you know, it doesn't take away from the general performance of the team, which was okay.
100%. So, but to summarize, in all fairness, like, you know, in the aftermath, I kind of want to finish off what Lucky Singh here is saying. Give more attacks. And this is the next progression, according to my opinion. More attacks now. It's what we're saying there, Mark. Like, okay, great, solid defense. You have 11 players that are fighting for each other, but now take that into transition to attack, because we need to score goals.
Yeah, we do, and we will eventually. I think we've seen that we could score goals in the Champions League, and we are one of the top scoring teams in the Champions League. We scored twice as many goals as Newcastle did in the Champions League with 12. So if you use that as a reference, it's not the Premier League, but it is a reference and a sample size this season. So you can also say that the team is struggling, but they're producing moments of form, and the performances are indeed getting better. And if they could find consistency with good performances, I think the goals will certainly come in handy as well.
Anyway, there's nothing more to say. There is no more news. It's just the day after the aftermath. How are you guys feeling as United fans today? That's a big question. I'm feeling good, Mark. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling decent. It's a good day.
Feeling there's a little bit of a hope on building block from here?
Well, I always thought there were building blocks.
You're I know you.
No, it's different. I just look at it from a realistic perspective as opposed to a wishful perspective, on hopes and dreams and paper. Like on paper, things could look great and look amazing, but in reality, it's not that great. And if you look at the team from perspectively speaking, we don't have amazing team yet. We have some amazing players, and we have some players that can be amazing. And then we have
100%.
young players that are unknown talents. So it's a work in progress to me. It always has been. And
it is.
And I
agree with
you. From
you.
the perspective that, you're going to see changes, you're going to see adaptations. What you need to look for is consistency and better performances. And if it can continue, United is 6th on the table. So if it is that people are looking to say that the team is performing badly, then we should be below Chelsea, who's in 10th. We should be below Brighton, who's below Chelsea. You know what I mean? Everybody talks about Desiree, but he's languishing in the top half of the table right now.
Fair enough. Listen, I totally agree what you're saying. Realism, I'm absolutely for it. As what we're saying on this channel, we have an unbalanced opinion. Like, sometimes I agree what you're saying, sometimes you don't agree what you're saying, sometimes we don't agree what the VR room is saying, but that's called balance at the end of the day. But from a realistic perspective,
diversity.
we have been looking at the overall 360-degree what's going on around the club, barring the injuries, barring the transfer market, barring the the stuff that's been going off the pitch with the takeover and stuff like that. So it is what it is. So for me, building blocks is only moving forward. Ivo Bosic is saying, play Bruno number 10. Let him do what Bellingham does at Madrid. Free roam created. Yeah, exactly. Let him do. And this is the only way I want to finish up with. If you play a double pivot, or sometimes not a double pivot, but if you have insurances like, Casemiro, Kobbie Mainoo, or Amrabat, Kobbie Mainoo, then Bruno can do what Bruno does best, have that free roamer, be that registrar, be the one that can spray the Hollywood's passes left, right, center, find the passes. So absolutely, Angie, you are a legend. Angie, thank you so much for coming in with being a member for 6 months, Angie. We missed you yesterday. I hope you're doing well. Angie, let us know your feelings as well. Are you in the chat? No, she's not in the chat, but she's just popped up to be a member for 6 months. I'm happy with the yesterday's performance. We frustrated Liverpool we did frustrate them. We did. Pete Reed is also coming in, and Jesus Christ, this is Angie in the house. What a feeling! We're finishing off strong with memberships from Angie. Thank you so much. What a way to end up a stream. Wow. Angie comes from in the middle of nowhere, like a Santa Claus, giving 20 memberships. So I don't know. I don't have it popped up. Usually I don't have it.
You can always count on Angie, You can always count on Angie. Member? I'm checking right now. 1 second.
1 second. Big up, Angie. We love you. And let us know, because drop me a DM. I want to send you a gift. I'm due to send you a gift. You've been so good to this channel. You, Rush Mainoo, Fatty Donut, you know who you are. You've been constantly giving and supporting this channel for growth. So big up to you, Angie. And who
And
became
let's
a member,
welcome
Mark?
the new members. Let's welcome them. Craig Baldwin became a member. Tom Hudson
Greggy.
became a member.
Tom.
Darren Young, Prasnat K,
Yeah.
RSV, Peter Griffith,
Honestly.
Marcus
Peter
Plant,
Griffith.
Stu MUFC, Man United Van Cam, Alan, David Lattimore, Terrence Stephan, True Blue Clay, Juddy Sports, Colin Smith, Andre Phoenix, D-Man, Proud to be a Geordie, Jim Watkins, Graham Bridgman, Daryl Denton, Temson Saleh were given memberships. And Angie of
Big
MUFC, thank you so much. Big up,
Thank you
100%.
so much. There was some
Legend.
names I recognize there in the chat. There's some regulars that keep coming back. And Kevin Van Cam was also there. So big up for Kevin. I really loved your last Van Cam video. Keep going the good work, brother. Keep going the good work. Guys, good morning, everyone. This is the after party. This is the day after. Please let us know how you're feeling. And yes, you are in the house in the chat. Guys, I lost my train of thought. I'm so moved. And, you know, let us have a great week. Like, let's reflect on what happened over the weekend. It's Scousers. We actually got a point against Scousers. And let them have the Scousers salted tears. And they can come up with any excuse that they want. But United had the better upper hand of them. That's the sum
100%.
of this stream.
It was a good performance
100%.
by the team. I don't think the Scousers played shit. I think the Scousers played well, but they couldn't find the attacks that they want and the creativity they needed because, you know, they were thwarted by Man United's defense.
But bro, it was the silence of the Anfield. It was dead quiet. It was dead quiet. You know, I was speaking to some people, the away-going fans. They said, I had never heard Anfield being so quiet. I don't know. Listen, guys, stay beautiful, guys. Have a fantastic day. Tune in later on because Jarvis Corner is on tonight. Legendary Jarvis Corner. We're going to go total football here. And I'm doing a podcast recording with Bilal from Football Economy. Going to talk about the Glazer stuff, the takeover. We're going to spin some stories. Unusual. So stay tuned for that one as well. It's going to be very, very interesting. I cannot reveal what it's going to be. You have to tune. Bye-bye, Mick and Mark. Bye-bye to you. Bye-bye for everyone. Legends in the house. Legends in the house. And thank you, Legend Angie, for gifting those 20 memberships. And thank you, Mark. You seem like you need more coffee. Glory, glory, Manchester United. Close the shop. Have a good day and speak to you later, Sky. Bye for now for me and Mark Nurse. Ciao. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.